Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anita Anand with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts India's technology not only proved but also evolved itself during Corona pandemic. Prime Minister to launch several key projects in oil and gas sector in Tamil Nadu today. A delegation of foreign envoys from Europe and Africa reaches Srinagar on two-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir. 15 states successfully complete ease of doing business reforms. Around 90 lakh people administered COVID-19 vaccine in the country so far. And in tennis, top seed Ashley Barty knocked out of women's singles of Australian Open. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today asserted that India's technology not only proved but also evolved itself during the Corona pandemic. Mr. Modi was addressing the NASSCOM Technology and Leadership Forum NTLF through video conferencing. The Prime Minister said there was a time when India was dependent on other countries for smallpox vaccines, but today India is providing other countries made in India vaccines to fight against COVID.
कोरोना के दौरान भारत के ज्ञान विज्ञान हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी ने न सिर्फ खुद को साबित किया है बल्कि खुद को इवॉल्व भी किया है। एक समय था जब हम स्मॉल पॉक्स के टीके के लिए भी दूसरे देशों पर निर्भर थे। एक समय ये भी है जब हम दुनिया के अनेकों देशों को मेड इन इंडिया कोरोना वैक्सीन दे रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister stressed on the need to create world-class products that are made in India for the world. Mr. Modi urged startups and innovators to think how to create world-class products that will set the global benchmark on excellence. Saying technology has empowered citizens and connected them with the government, Mr. Modi said democratized data and last-mile service delivery has also been effective. He said India is not short of ideas, it needs mentors to turn these ideas into reality. Mr. Modi said when the whole world was restricted to the 4 walls of their homes, the country's IT sector ran their projects with the same commitment and dedication.
कोरोना के दौरान भारत ने जो सॉल्यूशंस दिए वो आज पूरी दुनिया के लिए प्रेरणा है। और जैसा अभी आप सब साथियों को मुझे सुनने का मौका मिला, कुछ सीईओज ने जो बताया, इसमें भी भारत की आईटी इंडस्ट्री ने कमाल करके दिखाया है। When the chips were down, your core kept things running. जब पूरा देश घर की 4 दीवारी में सिमट गया था, तब आप घर से ही इंडस्ट्री को स्मूथली चला रहे थे। बीते साल के आंकड़े दुनिया को भले ही चकित करते हो, आपकी क्षमताओं को देखते हुए भारत के लोगों को ये बहुत स्वाभाविक लगता है।
The Prime Minister said at a time when every sector was affected due to coronavirus, India's IT industry achieved a 2% growth.
जब हर सेक्टर कोरोना से प्रभावित था, तब भी आपने करीब 2% की ग्रोथ हासिल की। जब डी ग्रोथ की आशंकाएं जताई जा रही थी, तब भी अगर भारत की आईटी इंडस्ट्री अपने रेवेन्यू में $4 बिलियन और जोड़े तो ये सचमुच में प्रशंसनीय है और आप सारी टीम अभिनंदन के अधिकारी हैं। इस दौरान लाखों नए रोजगार देकर आईटी इंडस्ट्री ने सिद्ध किया है कि वो भारत के विकास का मजबूत पिलर क्यों है।
The Prime Minister said the government knows that barriers can never allow future leaderships to develop. Mr. Modi added that the government is trying to remove needless regulations from the technological industry. Mr. Modi said the National Digital Communication Policy was one such attempt.
साथियों, हमारी सरकार भी ये भली भांति जानती है कि बंधनों में भविष्य की लीडरशिप विकसित नहीं हो सकती और इसलिए सरकार द्वारा टेक इंडस्ट्री को अनावश्यक रेगुलेशन से बंधनों से बाहर निकालने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है। नेशनल डिजिटल कम्युनिकेशन पॉलिसी एक ऐसा ही बड़ा प्रयास था। भारत को ग्लोबल सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोडक्ट हब बनाने के लिए नेशनल पॉलिसी भी बनाई गई। सुधारों का ये सिलसिला कोरोना काल में भी जारी रहा। इससे नई परिस्थितियों में आपके लिए काम करना आसान हुआ।
Mr. Modi expressed happiness that the country's heavily cash-dependent society is now transforming into a cashless economy. In a major move, the Prime Minister said policies regarding mapping and geospatial data have been liberalized for the industry. He said this step will empower the country's tech startup ecosystem and further boost the country's Atmanirbhar mission. The Prime Minister said the present government with its new policies is working towards minimum government and maximum governance. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will dedicate to the nation and lay the foundation of key projects of the oil and gas sector in Tamil Nadu today through video conferencing. Mr. Modi will inaugurate the Ennore, Tiruvallur, Madurai, Tuticorin, Ramanathapuram pipeline project through video conferencing today. The 143-kilometre of the Ennore, Tiruvallur, Bengaluru, Puducherry, Nagapattinam, Madurai, Tuticorin natural gas pipeline has been laid at a cost of 700 crore rupees. The project will help utilize gas from ONGC fields and deliver natural gas as feedstock to industries and other commercial customers. Talking to AIR News, Executive Director of Indian Oil, D.S. Nanavare, said the project was a part of the national gas grid. He said the gas will benefit domestic transport, commercial sector and industry and also will considerably reduce pollution.
Indian Oil Corporation Limited has laid 143-kilometer long pipeline from Ramanathapuram to Tuticorin for monitoring the gas from Ramanathapuram and supplying gas to the Tuticorin. Initially, this will be supplied to fertilizer industry and subsequently this gas will be supplied to CGD networks wherein this gas will go to domestic, transport and commercial sector as well as industry. This particular pipeline has been constructed at the cost of rupees 700 crore.
Mr. Modi will inaugurate the Ramanathapuram Tuticorin natural gas pipeline and gasoline desulfurization unit at the Chennai Petroleum Corporation Limited, Manali. He will also lay the foundation stone of the Kaveri Basin refinery at Nagapattinam. More from our Chennai correspondent.
The gasoline desulfurization unit at CPCL Manali has been constructed at a cost of around 500 crore. The unit will produce a low-sulfur, environment-friendly gasoline and help reduce emission, contributing towards a cleaner environment. The Kaveri Base refinery project, estimated at a cost of rupees 31,500 crore, will be set up at Nagapattinam at a capacity of 9 million TPS. This joint venture between IOCL and CPCL will produce motor spirit and diesel with BS6 specifications and polypropylene as a value-added product. These projects result in socio-economic benefits and boost the country's Urja Atmanirbharta. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
A delegation of foreign envoys from Europe and Africa has reached Srinagar on a two-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir. The 20-member delegation is expected to have the first-hand information about the situation and the development works undertaken by the Union Territory Administration after abrogation of the special status of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir when the state was bifurcated into the separate Union territories of Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir. More from our Srinagar correspondent.
The envoys are meeting the newly elected members of the district development councils, besides holding a meeting with a few prominent citizens and administrative secretaries. Immediately after the arrival, the delegation went to Magam area of Central Kashmir's Budgam district, where they met newly appointed DDC members, Panchs and Sarpanchs at a government college premises, who briefed them about the strengthening of democratic institutions at the grassroots level. The delegation is scheduled to visit SK International Convocation Center in Srinagar, where they will get a briefing about how panchayats have been empowered in the UT by giving them financial powers. The envoys are also expected to visit Hazrat Bal Shrine, Dal Lake in Srinagar and several other places. The envoys would be briefed about the security situation by senior officers, especially attempts of Pakistan to push infiltrators into India, and also about the frequent ceasefire violations. Tomorrow, the envoys would visit Jammu, where they would be meeting Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, besides some of the DDC members and representatives of some social organizations. Nasir Rathir, AR News, Jammu.
Our correspondent takes a look at past visits of foreign envoys to Jammu and Kashmir.
This is the third such visit of foreign envoys to the Union territory since the abrogation of Article 370 in August 2019. The first team of 15 envoys visited Jammu and Kashmir in January last year to get a first-hand information about the ground situation. The delegation interacted with civil society members and common people. All envoys welcomed the abrogation of Article 370 and termed it beneficial for the country and also for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. The second batch of nearly 24 foreign envoys from European Union and Gulf countries had also visited in February last year. The delegation met Kashmiri traders, businesswomen and sportspersons. Delegation members were unanimous in their view that India has taken positive steps to restore normalcy in Jammu and Kashmir. Sobhagya, Air News, Delhi.
Union Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah will be arriving in Kolkata tonight for a 2-day visit to West Bengal. According to sources, Mr. Shah is scheduled to visit Kopil Muni Ashram at Ganga Sagar tomorrow. He will also join a migrant family for lunch at Narayanpur village in Namkhana before flagging off the fifth and last phase of BJP's Paribartan Jatra from Kakdweep in South 24 Parganas district. Later, Mr. Shah is scheduled to attend a few programs in Kolkata. It may be recalled that Home Minister Amit Shah had visited Kuch Bihar and Bonga Thakurnagar on the 11th of this month.
In Punjab, the counting for local body polls is going on except Sahibzada Jeet Singh Nagar, where repolling is going on at 2 polling booths of ward number 10 today. As per results received so far, Shiromani Akali Dal has won the 10 out of total 13 seats in Majita Municipal Council. 2 seats have gone to Congress and 1 independent candidate has also been elected. In Sujanpur Municipal Council, the Congress has won 8, BJP got 6 seats and 1 seat of ward number 12 has been won by independent candidate. In Gurdaspur Municipal Council, Congress has won all 29 seats. In total, 50 seats of the Moga Municipal Corporation, Congress has won 20 seats while Shiromani Akali Dal won 15, AAP got 4 and BJP 1 seat. 1 seat has gone to the independent candidate. In Hoshiarpur Municipal Corporation, Congress has won record 41 seats. Rakesh Sood, wife of former Cabinet Minister Tikshan Sood, has lost her seat. AAP has got 2 while the independents were elected on seats in Hoshiarpur Municipal Corporation. You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts India's technology not only proved but also evolved itself during Corona pandemic. Prime Minister to launch several key projects in oil and gas sector in Tamil Nadu today. A delegation of foreign envoys from Europe and Africa reaches Srinagar on a 2-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir. 15 states successfully complete ease of doing business reforms. Around 90 lakh people administered COVID-19 vaccine in the country so far. And in tennis, top seed Ashley Barty knocked out of women's singles of Australian Open. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे. Welcome back to the Midday News. The number of states successfully completing the ease of doing business reforms has increased to 15. The Finance Ministry has said that 3 more states, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, have completed ease of doing business reforms
On receipt of recommendation from the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, the Department of Expenditure has granted permission to these 3 states to raise additional financial resources of 9,905 crore rupees through open market borrowings. The ministry said earlier Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Punjab, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and Telangana had also reported completion of this reform. On completion of reforms facilitating ease of doing business, these 15 states have been granted additional borrowing permission of over 38,000 crore rupees. Ministry of Earth Sciences has invited suggestions on the draft Blue Economy Policy for India. The draft Blue Economy Policy document outlines the vision and strategy that can be adopted by the government to utilize the oceanic resources available in the country. Stakeholders, including industry, NGOs, academia and citizens, can submit inputs and ideas by the 27th of this month.
Union government has said that around 90 lakh people have been administered COVID-19 vaccine in the country so far. The total cumulative vaccination coverage includes over 64 lakh healthcare workers and over 25 lakh frontline workers. Union Health Ministry said in the last 24 hours, over 2,76,000 healthcare workers were vaccinated. 8 states account for 57.8% of the total vaccine doses administered in India. Uttar Pradesh alone accounts for 10.4%, and of yesterday, a total of 36 cases of hospitalization and 29 cases of deaths have been reported so far from people who have been vaccinated. Out of the 36 cases of hospitalization, 22 were discharged after treatment. The ministry said out of the 29 deaths, 17 deaths are outside hospital, whereas 12 are in the hospital. The COVID-19 recovery rate in the country has touched 97.33%. The Health Ministry said in the last 24 hours, 11,833 people were discharged. Till now, 1,644,858 people have recovered from the COVID-19 infection. In the last 24 hours, 11,610 new cases were reported. With this, total number of cases have reached 1,937,320.
In Maharashtra, after the indication of taking strong measures by Mumbai Mayor Kishori Pednekar to contain the resumption of rising COVID cases, BMC Additional Commissioner Suresh Kakani has also warned to come out with harsh decisions after reviewing the situation in Mumbai within the next 10 days. A report.
In the backdrop of resumption of the rising trend of COVID-19 cases in Mumbai, the authorities of Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation are giving indications to come out with some harsh measures. The civic authority is already taking steps in this direction, as it has sent a letter to a society in Chembur area for the strict implementation of COVID-19 guidelines, where the rising trend of COVID-19 cases is seen for the past 1 week. Although Maharashtra Health Minister Rajesh Tope has undermined the cause of the sudden rise in Mumbai, which is said to be the conditional resumption of local trains in Mumbai, the authorities have pointed out towards the complacent attitude and negligence of the passengers while travelling in local trains, as well as by the people during the family functions like marriages and engagements. Similarly, the civic authorities have drawn attention towards the importance of the precautionary measures required to be taken by the housing societies and other residents of Mumbai. This has compelled BMC to issue strict warnings to the people in the city, and the success of their measures are solely dependent on the response of the people. Mumbai Mayor Kishori Pednekar was seen walking on the railway platforms for creating awareness about the importance of wearing masks and following social distance. Shailesh Patil, Air News, Mumbai.
In Rajasthan, more than 6,22,000 people have been administered the first dose of COVID vaccine, while 14,500 people have been given the second dose of vaccine. About 11,000 vaccination sessions have been conducted for corona vaccination in the state so far. More from our correspondent.
The work of giving second dose of vaccine to health workers is going on in the state. Besides, teachers of primary education under the Rural Development Department are being vaccinated today across the state. Now just 1,257 active cases of COVID are left in the state. The number of new infections coming daily is also less than 100. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has said that the increasing number of COVID cases in Mumbai and some countries may be a sign of third wave of corona. Hence, people should follow the COVID protocol and avoid any negligence. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Argentina is set to receive 580,000 doses of the Oxford University AstraZeneca vaccine from India's Serum Institute today. A government spokesperson said yesterday that bringing the country a step closer to launching a large-scale vaccination program. The delivery of the shot will raise the country's total vaccine count to nearly 1.8 million, according to Reuters tabulation drawn from official sources. Talking to AIR News, Dr. Aparna Agarwal from Lady Hardinge Medical College said the COVID-19 vaccines which have received government's approval are safe and secure. She said people should not have any doubts and should come forward to get vaccinated.
हमारे जो ड्रग रेगुलेटर्स हैं उन्होंने वैक्सीन अप्रूव किया है, इसको पूरी तरह से स्टडी करके अप्रूव किया है, तो उससे ये पाया गया है कि वैक्सीन सेफ है और इफेक्टिव है। दोनों चीजें बहुत जरूरी हैं और कोई भी चीज को इमरजेंसी यूज अप्रूवल के पहले ये चीज गवर्नमेंट की जो रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज हैं वो बड़े ध्यान से देख करके करती हैं। तो हमको ये मान के चलना चाहिए कि हमारी सेफ्टी को ध्यान में रखते हुए रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज ने इसका अप्रूवल दिया है। इसका मतलब कि वैक्सीन सेफ है और तभी उनको परमिट किया गया है वैक्सीन देने के लिए, इमरजेंसी यूज अप्रूवल दी गई है। तो जिसके मन में भी शंका है वो शंका अपने मन से निकालें, जिसकी भी टर्न आती है वैक्सीन जरूर लें।
The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Dr. Rajesh Jaiswal, senior physician from Ranchi, will participate in the discussion. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free telephone number 1800115767. One can also ask questions on telephone number 01123314444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the Mahabahu Brahmaputra, lay the foundation stone of Dhubri Phulbari Bridge and perform Bhumi Pujan for construction of Majuli Bridge, Assam tomorrow. Through video conferencing, Union Ministers Nitin Gadkari and Mansukh Mandavia and Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal will be present on the occasion. The launch of Mahabahu Brahmaputra will be marked by the inauguration of the RoPax vessel operations between Neamati, Majuli Island, North Guwahati, South Guwahati and Dhubri Hatsingimari, Shilanyas of Inland Water Transport Terminal at Jogi Ghopa. The program is aimed at providing seamless connectivity to the eastern parts of the country and includes various development activities for the people living around River Brahmaputra and River Barak. In our series on Union Budget 2021-22, today we bring you key announcements for the welfare of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Budget allocation of over 7,524 crore rupees for the year 2021-22 is the highest ever for the Tribal Affairs Ministry. The annual outlay in financial year 2021-22 of Department of Social Justice and Empowerment is 28% higher than the revised annual outlay in financial year 2020-21. In her budget speech, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the government has set a target of establishing 750 Eklavya model residential schools in the tribal areas. She said it will help in creating robust infrastructure facilities for our tribal students.
We have set ourselves a target of establishing 750 Eklavya model residential schools in our tribal areas. I propose to increase the unit cost of each such school from 20 crores, which is what it is now, to 38 crores, and for hilly and difficult areas to 48 crores. This would help creating robust infrastructure facilities for our tribal students. We have revamped the post-metric scholarship scheme for the welfare of scheduled caste students. I have also enhanced the central assistance in this regard. We are allotting 35,219 crores for 6 years till 25-26 to benefit 4 crores scheduled caste students.
We have more from our correspondent.
The over
overall allocation of funds for the welfare of scheduled tribes has seen a huge increase this year. In the Union Budget 2021-22, over 78,256 crore rupees has been allocated as scheduled tribes component STC funds of 41 ministries or departments, which is more than 50% increase than the STC budget of last financial year. The outlay for annual budget of Department of Social Justice and Empowerment is over 10,517 crore rupees as against the outlay approved for the revised budget plan 2020-21. During 2021-22, around 76% of annual budgetary outlay of the department is allocated for states under centrally sponsored schemes. The allocation for welfare of scheduled castes for all ministries has been increased by 51.65% from around 83,256 crore rupees in 2020-21 to 1,26,259 crore rupees in 2021-22. Pradhan Mantri Anusuchit Jati Abhyuday Yojana PM Ajay has been created after merger of three schemes with a target of comprehensive development of 3,500 SC majority villages in 2021-22 to benefit 6 lakh beneficiaries with a holistic approach and varied interventions. An allocation of 1,800 crore rupees has been made for PM Ajay in the new financial year. Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
India and Russia have agreed to work closely together on key issues on the UNSC agenda. In keeping with the special and privileged strategic partnership, the two countries held bilateral consultations yesterday on UNSC issues in Moscow at the DG level. The Russian delegation was led by Director of the Department of International Organizations of Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russian Federation, Peter Ilychev. Joint Secretary UNP and Summits in MEA Prakash Gupta led the Indian delegation along with officials from Embassy of India in Moscow. Former news editor of All India Radio and Doordarshan News, Prakash Chand Jain, passed away in New Delhi today. He was 83. He was suffering from bone cancer. An officer of Indian Information Service, Jain also served Publications Division, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting.
The Sensex and Nifty today logged losses of around 0.8% in intraday trade amid negative global cues. The BSE Sensex was trading 420 points down at 51,684. And now news from Australian Open Tennis.
World number 1 and top seed Ashley Barty has been knocked out of the Australian Open. Barty lost to 25th seed Karolina Muchova of Czech Republic 1-6, 6-3, 6-2 in the women's singles quarterfinal at Melbourne Park this morning. Muchova will now face American Jennifer Brady in the semi-finals.
Receive 3 points.
Well, that will get it done. One of the biggest upsets of the tournament thus far, Karolina Muchova.
22nd seed Jennifer reached her second Grand Slam semi-final in a row by beating fellow American Jessica Pegula 4-6, 6-2, 6-1 in the quarterfinals. In other fixtures of the women's singles, Serena Williams will face off Naomi Osaka tomorrow for a spot in the final. Williams, who is seeking a record-tying 24th major singles championship, defeated second seed Simona Halep 6-3, 6-3 in the quarterfinals. In the men's singles, 4th seed Daniil Medvedev has sailed into the last four after winning his all-Russian quarterfinal against 7th seed Andrei Rublev in straight sets. In other fixtures, world number 114 Aslan Karatashev has become the first man in the professional era to reach the semi-finals of his first major tennis tournament. The 27-year-old Russian qualifier defeated 18th-seeded Grigor Dimitrov of Bulgaria 2-6, 6-4, 6-1, 6-2. He has set up the semi-final clash with the 8-time winner Novak Djokovic, who crushed Germany's Alexander Zverev 6-7, 6-2, 6-4, 7-6 to reach his 39th Grand Slam semi-final at the Australian Open. Swati Rakheja, News Desk.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. In national capital Delhi, minimum temperature was around 11 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 28 degrees. Mumbai is expected to have partly cloudy sky with temperature varying between 24 and 27 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature in the city was around 10 degrees. Maximum will be around 23. Srinagar, sky will be mainly clear. Leh will see a mainly clear sky too. Minimum temperature was minus 10 degrees Celsius. Maximum will be around 6. Gilgit will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between -1 and 20 degrees. Muzaffarabad will also have mainly clear sky. Temperature will vary between 8 and 25 degrees Celsius. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts India's technology not only proved but also evolved itself during Corona pandemic. Prime Minister to launch several key projects in oil and gas sector in Tamil Nadu today. A delegation of foreign envoys from Europe and Africa reaches Srinagar on 2-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir. 15 states successfully complete ease of doing business reforms. Around 90 lakh people administered COVID-19 vaccine in the country so far. And in tennis, top seed Ashley Barty knocked out of women's singles of Australian Open. And with that, we end the midday news.